I remember the first time somebody agreed to pay me $100 per session. Now, when I was doing personal training, I was charging about $50 an hour. And how I even got into it was I was coaching group classes at a gym, and the gym owner was like, hey, we're actually going to start doing hybrid memberships where somebody could come to class and they could also add an additional session or two throughout the week that they could work on anything that they're trying to do. Now, putting yourself in a position where you're charging what you're worth is very uncomfortable at first. And I'm sure so many people experience the same thing. It's like these limiting beliefs that you place on yourselves where you've never done it before and you're like you don't see a path clearly to achieving it. I'll give you another example is making your first, $5,000 a month, $10,000 a month. When I was in college and I saw people making enough money, all that money, I was like, there's no way. I had this limiting belief that I could never achieve these things. And recently I've broken through another limiting belief. And I wanted to share this with you guys for no other reason than I wish I had somebody telling me these things. Now, when I started trying to squash my limiting beliefs, I wrote down things in a notebook and thought that affirmations every morning would just get me to where I wanted to go. So I would write down all these affirmations, and every morning I'd wake up and I would read through the list, and it's like, I will make $10,000 a month. I will, be the best coach. I will have a successful social media that can uh, make up all of my income, and that could be my full-time job, and I can do the things that I love, etc. Now they're more specific than that, and I just repeated them to myself constantly. Not to say that I just read those and then sat on my butt all day. It was I read those and then I would go take the actions that I thought would get me to where I wanted to go and to achieve those things. And the more and more I did it, I never felt like I was getting closer. Now I ended up owning my own gym, and to run the gym, I needed to make about $6,000 a month. And for I don't know why it never clicked to me, but I did it. For 3 years, I paid over $6,000 a month for rent and applications and insurance and affiliation and all of these things. But it never clicked in my head like, hey, you are making $6,000 to $8,000 a month at least because you had to pay your bills. Some months I did not make that much because I was negative and I put on a credit card. But once I sold the gym, like left the gym and stopped coaching full time and started really diving into social media, I still kept that limiting belief with myself that I couldn't make a certain amount of money. Now, recently, I have put together for my social media community that I wanted to sell a year in full, which would be $1,000. And when I started the social media community, I was charging $13 a month for the membership. And I thought, this is enough. I don't want to overcharge people. And there's a whole lot more mindset that's gone into it. But I've gotten to a point where I want to make it affordable for the people who want to be in there and were like me 13 years ago when I wouldn't be able to afford this high ticket, premium service. So we have a membership for that. And then I want to offer something a little bit higher ticket where I'm more hands-on and, talking to these people consistently who are already in the middle of running their business. And the limiting belief that I held all those years ago, which was I don't know if I can charge this much or make this much or whatever. So let's bring it all the way back. I was sitting on the couch and somebody messaged me that they were like, hey, I want to do personal training. And I was like, okay, well, this is going to take a lot of time out of my schedule. This is going to be a challenge. This person needed a ton of work, and it was going to just be a challenge. That's like the best way to put it. It wasn't going to be simple for me to do this. So I thought of a number. What number could I charge them that would be worth the amount of work I'm going to have to put in? And I tried to think of a crazy number. And I thought, $100 a session. That sounds absolutely ridiculous to me. The most until then I had charged for a personal training session, I think was like $55. It was like for 30 or for an hour. So I'm sitting on the couch and I'm like sweating, like, oh my gosh, I don't know. I'm gonna tell them $100. This is great. $100 is crazy. All right, and I was expecting them to be like, no way, that's too expensive. I'm never gonna do it. So I told them, hey, I charge $100 a session. And I wrote the message, deleted the message, wrote the message, deleted the message, and finally I was like, you know what? Whatever. I have nothing to lose. If they say no, I'm in the same place that I am now. So I said, it's $100 a session, and then my heart rate's like crazy, like, oh my gosh. Because again, I had this limiting belief that people wouldn't pay for what I had to offer. even though I had the track record to show that I knew how to help people accomplish their goals, I was doing it in group classes constantly. I did have a few one-on-one people that I was working with that they were getting muscle ups, they were getting handstand walks, they were getting handstand push-ups, they were doing all the things that they wanted, they were getting better at weightlifting. So anyway, I sent this message, I put my phone down, and I was like, yeah, I was like so nervous. And then the text message comes back, and they're like, cool, we'll do 3 times a week. What? What the actual? They wanted to pay me $300 a week to do 3 sessions a week with me, and it was like nothing. You know, they didn't have that limiting belief that they could afford that. They didn't have the. They thought that what I was providing was valuable enough to pay $100 a session. They wanted to see me 3 times. And while, again, this did not squash my limiting belief, it should have. I should have taken that into account and be like, wow. But I will tell you what, it did make me value myself more. It made it easier for me when people ask me how much I charge to tell them confidently, this is what I charge, rather than trying to justify what I charge. I never went, oh, well, I stopped doing that immediately. When someone said, hey, how much do you charge? I go, oh, it's $100 for an hour. Oh, that sounds kind of expensive. Yeah, it is. I give you a really good product and you get a lot of value for that hour with me. And I give you this service. And if they were like, oh, it's a little expensive, cool. Let me know if you're interested. If not, keep doing what you're doing. You're probably asking me because I have something that you'd like help with, or I have the knowledge that you'd like help with. Anyway, the whole point of this was I wish somebody back in the day was doing what I was trying to do and could tell me that is possible. And they could guide me and I don't even just telling me like, yo, you can do it. It's possible. Here are the steps and here's how I did it. I feel like it would help me because the people that I did know who were making a decent amount of money or the money that I wanted to make, they weren't doing it in the field that I was doing it. It definitely wasn't making, memes on social media or creating their own social media community. They were like real estate agents or doing loans or hedge fund managers or doctors, I couldn't relate to them. So if you are somebody out there who is trying to run a social media and you want to make money from social media, I'm here to tell you it's possible. And if you want to know how to do it, feel free to comment on this video, send me a message. I'll give you all, I'm not here to gatekeep anything. I'll tell you what it takes. It takes having an audience, understanding what you're even trying to do. Are you trying to educate, inspire, entertain? Figure those things out and then figure out how you're going to do those things. Like what product doesn't necessarily have to be a product or service. You can be the entertainer to get eyes for a business, right? And then the business will pay you to get the eyes on their product. That could be one way. If you are a business owner and you want to make more money or you want to generate leads or sales from social media, I'm here to tell you, you can do that. If you're a coach and you're like, I want to make a living coaching and I want to get more leads, and you can do it. I've gone from making $0 as a coach because at first they said, hey, we're going to pay you for one class, $15 per class. And I was like, I'll coach the rest of these classes free. And I know this is a hodgepodge of a bunch of different ideas, but I just wish there was someone to tell me, hey, look, it's possible. You can make the money that you want to make. You can support your family. You can go on this path that is most people aren't taking. Most people looked at me and they were like, that's cool that you're doing that. I don't know how it's even happening. And sometimes I wake up and I'm like, I don't even know how it's happening. I just continued to follow the things that felt right to me. So yeah, there's no specific reason for this video. I just wanted to share with you guys. The first time I was like, wow, somebody's willing to pay me this much money. Wow, when I think about what I've been doing, I have been doing the things that I tried to do, which were own a gym and pay enough money and make enough money. And now here we are starting a social media community and people are paying for this service and they're getting results and I'm justifying the value in my head. It's kind of working backwards. It's rather than feeling ready to do it now, I'm doing it and seeing the people achieve their goals is making my brain go, it does work. You are doing it. Yeah. If you're out there and you are chasing, a dream and nobody else around you is doing the same thing, or you can't relate to somebody who's doing it and you're going down a path less beaten. Is that the phrase? Keep going. You might have to forge your own path and you might have to figure it out along the way and it's worth it. Okay. That's my TED Talk for the day. See you guys.